London School of Business and Certified Accountants. For today's video, I have prepared a list of some important tips and tricks to help you prepare better for your ACCA exams so that you can clear it in the first go. I've divided this video in two segments. The first one is exam preparation and the second one is exam day. So let's first come to the exam preparation tips. Now first let's come to the exam preparation part. The first point here is the syllabus. You must do the 100% of syllabus. You cannot pick and choose the concepts because you can be tested on any of the learning objectives. The second point here is exam kit. As soon as you complete a concept or a topic, you must do the kit questions immediately. Because that way you will know how a particular concept will be tested in the exam and whether you are being able to apply it or not. Next, you must make roadmaps or easy to follow indexes for the syllabus. Now this can be done in two ways. First, for a particular topic or a concept, you can write down next to it this topic is on this page in the book, or this is tested in this question in the exam kit. And the second way to do is like what I used to do in the kit, I used to write that this particular question tests these concepts so that I can easily refer to them during my revisions. Now, the next point here is regarding MCQs. While preparing MCQs, you should not just go for the right answer. You must also know why are the other options wrong, because that way you can understand the concept truly, and also this will help you not fall for the tricky questions in the exam. The next point is theory. Now, most students either ignore theory or they think that if they understand the concept, they can just ignore the theory and they will handle it in the question. But this is not true. It's an integral part of the question paper. You cannot just ignore it because if you have read the points for the definition, advantages, disadvantages, etc., this will help you form structured answers, and this in turn will help you gain more marks. Also, this will help you if your answer is structured, this will help you score the professional marks as well, for example in SBL or the SBR paper. Coming on next, know your formula. No doubt you will be provided with formula sheet in the question paper, but still you cannot just completely ignore your formulas because you must at least know how to use the formula given to you. For example, the formula for capital asset pricing model is now. In this formula, if you do not know what ERI and RF or beta is, how will you calculate the question asked? Or how will you know where to put the figures? You must know that this is the expected return. And similarly for all these values as well. Moving on, the next point is the revisions. Now, this is the question that most of the students ask. How do we revise? So first of all, do not wait for the syllabus to finish. Do your revisions regularly. For revisions, you can either highlight the important things in your book or either underline it, or you can make your own notes, whatever suits you better. Next, yeah, I told you the roadmaps you should prepare, right? Those roadmaps or the specific indexes prepared by you will help you a lot while revisions. Because, for example, I just picked a topic, and if I've not made those indexes, I will not know where exactly it is in the book, and I'll have to go through maybe the whole chapter or something to revise it. So if the indexes are prepared, you can have quicker revisions. Next, you should attempt the questions yourself first. This is really important because I've also made this mistake in the past that I used to just audit the questions. That is simply not going to work. You must do the questions yourself first and then refer to the answer. And then another important thing, you must write down your mistakes, that I made this mistakes while attempting this question, but this was the correct thing. This will help you in the quicker revisions at the exam time, that you have to avoid these mistakes. Next, you should also write down the tricky or the extra or special points that are tested in a question. Sometimes we know the concept, but it's molded in a way in a particular question. So it would be easier for you to refer if you've written them down right next to the question itself. Now, and another important point, mock tests. You must appear for at least 2 to 3 mock tests and do not sit for your exam unless and until you score at least 70 to 80 marks. The mock test will help you analyze your weaknesses and your strengths so that you can work on them and be fully prepared for your exam day. These will also help you in a really important thing that is crucial for an exam, that is time management. Most of the students lack in this, but if you've prepared and if you've given enough mock tests, you will find it easier to manage time on the exam day. You must practice or give your mock tests on the CBE practice platform, because that way you can get used to the exam setup, and on the exam day you can focus on the questions in the question paper instead of getting used to the setup. Now for exam day, what students ask us is that what should be the sequence to be followed, whether they should attempt long questions first or they should attempt for the MCQs first. So I would say that this is completely up to you. Whatever you think is your best area or your strong area, your favorite area, or you think is more scoring, you should attempt those first. Next, you should attempt 100% of your exam. You must not leave any question, because for long questions there will be step marking. So you must write as much as you know. And for MCQs, if you mark any answer, there are 25% chances that the answer is going to be right. But if you do not mark any of the options, there are 0% chances that the question you've attempted is right. It's just in vain. Next important point is the time management during exam. Most of students face problem with this thing. Now for time management, we would suggest that you strictly follow the rule of minutes per mark and stick to it. Like for example, for SBL exam, it's a 4-hour exam, so it would mean 240 minutes. So you would get 2.4 minutes per mark. You should strictly stick to it and do not cross it. Next, you should pick up the easy marks first. Now, what do I mean by easy marks? For example, during MCQs, you have a question which has a lot of data, and you need to make a lot of calculations to arrive at the answer. And then at the same time, you have 2 or 3 more questions that are one liners or need lesser amount of calculations or have lesser data. You should go for those short questions first, because in the same time you are having 3 to 4 marks instead of 1. Next, for any questions, especially the long ones, you must read the requirements first and then the data or exhibits provided in the question. Because that way, while reading the question, you will know that what you would be asked of, and you can easily highlight or mark the important or relevant data in the question, and and you can save a lot of time instead of reading the question first and then reading the requirements and then coming back to the question to take out the relevant things. You must avoid all kind of distractions. Now if you are sitting for a center based exam, there might be someone whose keyboard might not be working, there might be someone whose chair is not well. You just completely ignore those things and completely focus on your exam. Now, another important point, you must do smart work. Now, what do I mean by it? See, for example, in some MCQs, you might be given options that you can see are clearly wrong. For example, the value of correlation can only be between -1 to +1. So, if in the options of that of that question, you see that there are options that are not between -1 to +1, then you can easily strike them out and just go for the right option and proceed with your next question. This would save you a lot of time as well. Next, don't fall for the tricky questions. Now, in some questions, you will be given options that all look correct, but there will be wrong options, and the examiner will make sure that he has given you the data to arrive at those wrong options. So you must be alert and don't fall for it. Now, there are some other general or bonus tips for you. First of all, you just do not see what others are doing. Follow your own strengths and weaknesses and work on them and just proceed accordingly. If you see what others are doing, you will fall behind on what's good for you. Next, this is a really important one that most of the students ignore. You must rest well before exam. Take enough sleep, stay hydrated, and retain your energy for exam. If you have exhausted yourself well before the exam only, how will you be attentive or attempt the exam well? And last but not the least, stay calm, don't panic, but at the same time, you must avoid overconfidence. So that was all for this video. I hope these tips and tricks help you prepare better for your exams and you clear your exams with flying colors.